Hey everyone, TJ Hernandez here with RosterCoach.com, and this is the Week 11 GPP Value Report, where every week I go through the featured contests for both FanDuel and DraftKings main slate and discuss the payout structure of these contests just to help you guys out with your game selection, specifically just to find games that match your goals. I think a lot of people want to find games sometimes with a lot of upside and not necessarily worried about a good game structure. Maybe they just don't have a huge bankroll, or they can easily replenish their bankroll, and in those cases just looking for these bigger first place prizes. While there are people that are grinding out a steady profit, and in those cases you do want to minimize your variance and risk whenever possible, and you might be looking for flatter payout structures or something like a higher percentage of the field being paid out. So each week, in case you haven't seen one of these videos yet, I just go through and highlight the steepest and the flattest payout structures, and then kind of let you guys go through and look at the other structures to see if there's specific games that you're looking at, how they match up against the other ones. So starting here on the FanDuel main slate with games priced up to the $12 buy-in level, the Sunday Million, $1.5 million, $250,000 to first, down from $300,000 to first. We do have the same prize pool as last week, but that structure is changed a little bit. So with less money going to first place, we get a slight bump in the amount of the field being paid. So that's right under 22%, which for a large field tournament, we could see that that's pretty competitive with some of the other games like the snap, the rush, the kickoff, all of those games paying out at least $20,000 to first place. So in terms of at least the percentage of the field being paid, the Sunday Million is pretty much on par with those. But of course, you are going to see a much bigger field, over 250,000 people in that field, of course, because it's just a $7 buy-in. If we are looking at these smaller stakes games and looking for a game that pays out a larger percentage of the field, we have three games that stand out: the pancake block at the 25-cent level, the snap at the $2 level, and the huddle at the $3 level. All of those games are paying out over a quarter of the field, but none of those games have a first place prize over $5,000. The huddle, you're getting a chance to turn $3 into $5,000. A smaller field than the snap at the $2 level, but because it is a game with no experienced players allowed to play in it, it's offering a smaller rake. So limited number of entries there, at least in terms of some of these bigger games. And if you can get that drop in rake, that's always what we're looking for. So definitely like that there. Moving on to games on the main slate on FanDuel priced at $15 or higher. We have a couple games with $100,000 going to first. We have the Bomb at the $33 level, the Blitz at the $166 level, and the Monster at the $333 level. Of those games, the contest paying out the largest percentage of the field is the Monster, just under 21%, but they are all pretty close, those three big contests, with the Blitz being the one paying out the steepest payout structure, less than 20% of the field being paid, 25% of the money up top. One thing that did stand out to me this week, the Hot Route, which is a single entry contest at the $50 level, paying out a small percentage of the field at just 19%, but 2.5 times your money if you min cash. Not often we see too many of these games pay out that much if you min cash, so that's definitely noticeable if you are just playing a few entries and are trying to minimize that variance, that extra 0.5 multiplier compared to a lot of the games that are just 2x for a min cash. I really like that a lot. No other really big contests here or contests that stand out at these higher stakes. The structures typically get a little more steep. The only game paying out more than 22% of the field is the touchdown at the $65 level. 5 entry max game, 23% of the field being paid out. Just 12% of that prize pool going to first place, but very limited upside in that one, just $3,000 to first. But again, that structure is really good, and it's a limited entry game with just 5 entries allowed. So people that are on a little bit bigger bankroll, but not a huge bankroll, that $65 level, if you're allocating somewhere around $300 to $400 to tournaments each week, I do like that contest as a lower variance option. Moving on over to DraftKings. Last week, DraftKings ran a single entry series with some pretty decent first place prizes, and they're running that back to an extent. Some of these games, they're calling them the Encore, or it's just still called the Celebration. So I'll definitely highlight those. But one major thing that we did see is a shift in the millionaire. I'll get to that when we move up to these higher stakes games. But for now, let's just look at these games priced from the 25-cent level up to the $12 buy-in level. The game with the biggest prize pool here is the play action. That's up from $1.25 million prize pool last week to $1.35 million. Still $100,000 going to first place. 26% of the field being paid in that one. Less than 8% of the money going to first place. So as an overall payout structure, pretty good for a field that big or a prize that big, but over 500,000 entries, so you're really just kind of playing a lottery there. We do have the post pattern with the $25,000 first place prize. That's an $8 buy-in and 26% of the field being paid out there. One of those tournaments that they are running back that I mentioned at the beginning is the mini single entry celebration entry. So a single entry contest at the $4 level, chance to turn your $4 into $8,000. But relative to some of these other games in this buy-in range, less than 25% of the field being paid out. Other than the games at the 25-cent and the $1 level, that is the lowest percentage of the field being paid out. So definitely want to pay attention to that there. And those are just kind of the games that stand out at these stakes. If we move up to the games priced $20 and above, as I mentioned, the millionaire does have a slight change in structure. Now the prize pool is $3,110,000, so $110,000 added to the guaranteed prize pool. Obviously, still not that big of a shift in the structure. Still 32% of that prize pool going to first place. The Power Sweep and the Wildcat both have prizes of $100,000 or more going to first place. Power Sweep at the $150 level, Wildcat at the $333 level. But other than a game like the Millionaire or the Single Entry Celebration Encore, those games are paying out the lowest percentage of the field, 21% for the Sweep and 21% as well for the Wildcat. So if you are going to go for those bigger first place prizes, of course, you're going to be sacrificing at least the percentage of the field being paid out. But as you move up, you do get that rake drop that we're always looking for. So that's always nice. And then if we are looking for a couple of contests at the higher stakes level, paying out larger percentage of the field, the 3-point stance, which is a 3-max game at the $33 level, paying out almost 26% of the field. The chop block, a relatively small contest in terms of size and upside at the $50 level, paying out 26.4% of the field. And then the juke at the $400 level, $10,000 to first there, and 26% of the field being paid out, just under 26% of the field being paid out there. So structures pretty much as we've expected, not too many changes outside of this celebration series that they've been running over on DraftKings. But as always, just kind of go through this, and if you see any games that are of particular interest, I just encourage you to check out similar prize pools, similar buy-ins, and compare structures before entering these contests. As always, hit me up if you have any questions here or on Twitter. This is TJ Hernandez with RosterCoach.com. Thank you for watching.